What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the 40K Cafe, and thank you, Grimsicle, for the request. I absolutely love this question. Mentally, physically, emotionally, and step by step, what happens when you're corrupted by the Chaos Gods? As we've seen on many occasions, servitude to the Chaos Gods isn't as bright and dandy as it may seem to be. You get power in exchange for just your soul and also a whole bunch of corruption. But what exactly happens when you are in the process of falling to chaos? I'm going to start off with Nurgle. When pledging yourself to the Grandfather, one may begin to gain resilience to any kind of corruption of disease and or pestilence. But this also comes at a cost. Your teeth may begin to yellow and or blacken. Your organs, eyes, or even your skin itself can begin to swell to an unnatural state. Boils and pus may coat over your body, and one may smell like that of rotten decay. But for the average individual, where they would probably find this excruciatingly painful to undergo this process, Nurgle makes it a blessing and pleasurable. Let's look at Lord Typhus or Typhon as an example. When Typhus was undergoing his servitude to the Grandfather, at one point he would receive a blessing, which would appear in the form of a boil, if I remember correctly, along his stomach. For a brief moment, it was described as painful, but once it was set in place, he would go on to poke the boil, and could only describe the feeling as joyful. And the transmutation would only continue further until his body would swell up to an enormous portion and even inhabit other plagues, diseases, and even bugs. But what about Korn and what happens when you dedicate your servitude to him? I like to use Karn as a perfect example. Korn promises immense strength, glory, honor, and bloodshed. So with the promise of strength, your stature and muscles may grow 7 times to what it previously was. But in the book Slaves to Darkness, Perturabo goes to recover his brother Angron and comes face to face with Karn. The book goes into a very good detail of describing how his personality and once honorable self is no longer 100% there. He is depicted as a mad berserker, teetering on the edge of sanity, holding a chain axe slicked with blood, and that he is no longer taking care of his armor. Karn comes in and out of lucidity, warning the Iron Warriors that his once proud master is no longer himself. Not that Angron was ever fully sane to begin with. But I love this moment because it depicts a perfect happy medium. Where Korn cares not from where the blood flows, you can see that Karn is trying his absolute best to hold on to the very little bit of sanity that he has left to warn his fellow comrades. But as we know, the individual that he becomes later on, the betrayer, he truly upholds exactly what it means to follow Korn, caring not from where the blood flows and adding skulls to the skull throne. Moving on to Slaanesh, I don't think there is another book that describes what happens when you start to be corrupted by Slaanesh better than Fulgrim. And I'm going to choose a moment where there is a certain painter whose name eludes me right now, but she is slowly being corrupted by the influential powers of Slaanesh, like everybody else on the ship of Fulgrim. As we know, Slaanesh is all about ecstasy, perfection, and excess, and the painter is trying to portray some kind of painting, but just can't seem to find the color palettes. She's never satisfied with the options that are provided to her, and she goes through other means to find the perfect colors to depict whatever she wants. She starts to open wounds upon herself so that she may draw blood to use as a red color palette. The red was perfect, and so she becomes frenzied. Ignoring food and forgetting to self-sustain herself, she looks for other color palettes. She begins to use feces, other bodily fluids, and honestly anything possible in order to achieve whatever she was depicting. I think Fulgrim does an incredible job at describing the step-by-step process of corruption from Slaanesh. And besides the concert of Maglaviglia, this moment stuck with me forever, as we truly get to see that nothing is too extreme to achieve whatever pleasure that one may desire. And lastly, we have Tzeentch, the Lord of Change. I have to be honest, I'm going to have a little bit of difficulty with this one. With Tzeentch, corruption may come in the form of forbidden knowledge. An individual may find some sort of information that they believe is beyond valuable, and that starts as the perfect seed that Tzeentch needs in order to get into their mind. The person may go on a maddened frenzy, look for any additional information and or secret knowledge, and all while chipping away at the little bit of sanity that they may hold on to. For those that go on in prolonged indentured servitude, sometimes we may see that they will sprout feathers or other avian-like features, but this isn't always the case. Again, he is the Lord of Change. The most common thing that I see is that the individual may be talking in complete tongues and or insanity, while also carrying some sort of truth, just enough to plant the seed for the next victim to fall to the madness. And quite frankly, those that devote themselves to the Lord of Change must always be on their guard from their own master, as he has a well-known reputation of betraying those that are close to him. But Grimsicle, with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thanks again, guys, for listening. Drop a comment if there's anything you want to hear about next, and as always, remember to follow for more.